Hi, it's Thursday, April 16th, and I'm on my way to the cheer gym. So we've got a lot to catch up on. We're going to talk the whole time I'm driving here. I'm expecting it to be about 15 minutes. I haven't really recorded. When I say really, I haven't recorded anything. I think I recorded one clip and I don't even know if I'm putting it in here. Anyways, it's been a week. Not bad. It's been good. Just moving and grooving and busy as always, but good kind of busy. So, what are we doing here? Sometimes people driving. Anyways, so let's talk about it. What's going on? First off, I ended the last video with practice on Sunday and that went well. I'm excited for today. So today going into practice, I am writing it out solo so that I can work on the things that we worked on, splice my routine together so that this Sunday when we reconvene, we can revisit, obviously can break down my technique a little bit more and we can fill in. There's one more section we need to fill. I also though have some ideas, and so I'm excited because we've talked about this, right? In my head, these things look great. We're gonna see if they actually look great. So I'm excited to go into practice. Let's back it up a little bit. So before I go into practice and why I'm heading there now, and I'm ahead of my usual practice time, part of what I do at Lifetime, I had mentioned beyond the fact that I personal train and I do group classes, metabolic testing, nutrition coaching, several hats, in club. Outside of our direct club, I also work with a team of programmers for a program that we have called GTX. So GTX is a functional exercise program, meaning it can be for and is for anybody and everybody. Half of it is done with cardiovascular training, half of it is done with strength training. It has been my goal in life, when I say life, my fitness life career, to really want to help coaches become better coaches. I think there's so much opportunity there, and I'm really passionate about coaching and how we approach classes and people directly and how much impact we have. I really have always wanted to share that with other people. So a couple years ago, I had the opportunity to apply for the GTX panel, and the way they do the panels is nationally. It's not restricted to one specific area or club. You can work anywhere. It's a remote position, and we do weekly meetings where we talk about things. But the gist of it is I did get hired into the program years ago. I'm actually in my third season of doing it, my third year. I'm one of the senior programmers on the panel, and it's something I have loved doing. In year one, I wrote all of the cardio for the program, which expanded me out of my comfort zone, but also really taught me a lot. And it was phenomenal to have that experience. To plan 365 days worth of cardiovascular workouts is intense. And I love that in year one. And then I transitioned over to strength in year two, and I've continued there on strength. So I program Tuesdays and Fridays. So if you come to GTX, those are my strength training days that I program. But outside of writing just the programming, the strength training that you're seeing, I get to be a part of coach education on this side. So we have a whole platform internally with Lifetime where all of our coach resources are compiled. I was going to call it hubbed, but it's literally called the hub. And for each, we do phases. We do 4-week phases where we focus on something. So we're about to come back into endurance. 12-week cycle, but 4 weeks at a time where we break it down. And we get to record, in addition to the fact that, we're putting together programming, we're writing coach notes to educate coaches. We put together videos that get uploaded to Hub, so it explains the day's focus further. And so I do record each phase. I have 6 days that I'm responsible for, that I do the coach education. Today is our national call. So every phase we do a call with the coaches to talk about what's coming, the why, and really the way I have been doing them. I took these over probably 6 months ago, where I'm specifically doing the education on this side. So I'll talk about the cardio programming. I'll talk about the red threads that we're going to see. Wes, who is our cardio programmer, will be on the call, and he will deep dive into his brain and how that works, and the why behind what we're seeing in the next 4 weeks of training. Hi, I'm back. Work calling. Anyways, so Wes will go into the cardio training side, and then I will break down the strength side further as to what we're going to see upcoming red threads, how we trend through Monday, Tuesday. Those days connect like week to week. So all the Mondays see progression, Tuesdays see progression. And then I've integrated coach education at the end of it. So today I'm really excited because we're going to be talking about where you start in your workout matters, and it matters for a goal. And so this is going to get a little, I love science with exercise and anything really. Get a little nerdy here, but we're going to talk about mTOR and AMPK systems. And so that's going to be my bit of it today. So I'm excited. I'm on my way to the gym early because I'm taking my call at the gym, so then I can roll right into practice. So that's today wrapped in what we got going on. Let's roll it back a little bit further. Within the week, it's been a good week. I feel like after coming off of Sunday's practice, I really do understand the direction we're going in. In my head, I can see the flow of it, and it is like I have felt good about my previous routines. I wouldn't say I've never felt not confident. I've always felt very confident with what I'm putting out there, but this is I'm excited because it authentically feels like me, and it's 100% delivering an elevated package of anything that I've done. It flows incredibly well. There's a lot of performance value. I think it's my personal opinion. Obviously, I'm gonna like it, but I think there is a lot of entertainment behind it. And I think if you were just the average person watching, the goal for me, if I'm watching a fitness routine in this division and how I gauge it, and this is how I work with people when I'm helping them clean and or bring up the routine, do I want to watch you again? If the answer is yes, we are nailing it, right? If the answer is like, that was good, but I probably wouldn't remember it, to me, there's more to be desired. And so I'm always trying to look at it from that perspective. Is this exciting to a point where I want to watch it again? And I feel like I've gotten to a point with this routine where I think the answer is a hard yes. Again, I'm partial. It's my routine, right? But I'm thrilled for that because it's so seamless. That's the word for it. It is seamless. Everything in this routine is seamless, and that's exciting. I've always felt like my routines have flowed, but this one is exceptionally better at that whole system. So that's going to be great. So I feel like I've settled in the last couple days, and I visualized this so I understand where I'm going, what I'm trying. And I feel good about going into my routine runs today. I also got a message. I'm not going to say who yet, but you will see it, I think, later in this video. So because I've been doing this vlog, someone has found me on IFBB Pro, and she is coming to Michigan on Saturday this week, and we are going to work on her routine. So I'm thrilled. I didn't necessarily expect to make connections this way, but I've said this several times over. I love doing this stuff. I love working on the choreography, and I really love cleaning up choreography. And having collaboration, as I mentioned in the last video, can bring out so much. And so I'm thrilled that she reached out. She's within driving distance, and so she's able to come here, and we're going to spend 3 hours together on Saturday. So I am excited. She is a newer IFBB Pro in the last, I think, year and a half is when she got her pro card, and she's got so much talent, and so I'm excited to help her start to find the performance, find the connection between everything. So this is going to be exciting, and this is going to end up being 1, 2, 3, 4. This will be my 5th IFBB Pro that I've gotten to work with. And so in the last several years, I've worked with, if you're in the fitness realm, I've worked with Maria, Corey, Andrea, Allison, and now this person. And so I'm excited that this is expanding and I'm able to help on this side. And this is going to be the first one I've ever actually done in person. Everybody else I've helped with, put hands on, has been virtual. So if you're somebody who is looking for assistance, another eye, if you want to scrub on it, if you want to connect with choreography, I'm here for it. Like I said, I love to do this, and I will make accommodations to make that happen as quickly as we can. So my schedule is open on Saturdays, late morning, early afternoon. So that is the plan with her. So I'm thrilled that this could be a platform to allow others to expand their horizons, right? And it's really fun in this realm to meet people who do what you do, because I feel like we're all cut from the same cloth. I mentioned this in one of my first videos, is fitness girls are kind of alike in our personalities. So I'm excited to spend time with her. So that was exciting. Rayal sent me a message to confirm us getting on board with coaching. So I mentioned I will have a check-in call with her in the middle of May. I'll submit a check-in to her, and then we're going to set up a call, which first time we ever had our call, it was supposed to be 45 minutes. We stayed on the phone for, I think, over 2 hours. And that's when I knew. I said, you're my person. Like, this is great. She obviously didn't need to spend that much time with me. But she connected with me, asked how things were going. So she didn't ask for a check-in, but I gave her one. And so I sent my week 1 to week 4 photos, my front, back, and side pose, so she could see my progress. I did update her on what's happening with my routine and working with Donnell, and her response was looking great, job well done. And I didn't necessarily need the affirmation on making my transformation, but I very much so plan to show up to her prepared, not overly prepared. I think this is important. I think this is important to say out loud. I've heard this before in this realm of competing. No one wins a prize for showing up early. And you risk peaking too early. You risk having to ride that out too long, which isn't great for your metabolic system. And it's not saying like cut down the wire, but in my feeling and how I look at this is, you know, within about 2 weeks of a show, I want to feel like I would be confident stepping on the stage. So do I need to be there on day 1 with Rayal? No, because that still gives us 2 months from the time I have my call with her to Chicago, providing Chicago, she gives me the thumbs up. But I do very much want to come to her getting close to that so that she can just take her magic brush over and start to focus on the details more. And so I'm happy that she gave me that affirmation, because it made me feel like, okay, I knew I was doing it, but like, yeah, you see it, like it's happening. So that's good. I've also gotten on sidebar, I've started to get a lot of comments at the gym lately, which I see all these people every single day. And this past week especially, I've been getting a lot of, you're prepping for a show, or you're getting ready for something, aren't you? That question a lot. And so it feels nice just it's hard when you look at yourself every day to notice change. And this is why coaches are so valuable, especially in prep, because prep goggles, Andrew says this, be goggling. You will think that you are not anywhere near, and this is where a coach can check you real fast and tell you. And that goes for anything in fitness. This is why coaches are so valuable. Anyways, so she gave me the thumbs up on Rayal's side. She also, when I told her I was working with somebody who had this kind of background, she actually told me that that's what elevated her game, I assume in her last season, because that's when Rayal found a lot of success. And so it's exciting to hear like her going to somebody in this profession really elevated her performance to deliver what she delivered. So this is all good. I'm excited. So I'm here now. I'm gonna get in the gym. I feel really good today. I've had some, I haven't had a great week of recoveries. When I say that, I wear a whoop strap. They've been all yellow. Yellow is baseline. I shouldn't say they're terrible, but I like to see green. I usually get mostly green recoveries, so that's a little bummer, but I'm a big advocate of take the data, but listen to how you feel, and today I feel good. To a point where I'm not even having caffeine coming in here, and I said last week on Thursday, usually I do, because it's later in the day. I've been up since 3:45. It's a long one. I think adding the carbs around my workout helped, and then I had added an extra quarter cup of white rice to my 1 o'clock meal. So extra boost of energy today, and I feel that. So we'll report back after practice. Maybe I'll share some in practice. We'll see how this goes. I am disgusting. I still have 20 minutes, and I need to utilize my time here. My max heart rate went to 180, which is better than it has been, so that's great. I am a sweaty. The camera does not do it justice. I am a sweaty mess. I'm tired. But I did all the new stuff. Had to make some tweaks. Just running it with music is so much different than breaking it down, and this is how you start to find, like, this is what works and this is what doesn't for me. And so this was a good takeaway moment. So I'm gonna compile my videos so I can send them over to Donnell for Sunday. My eyes burn from getting sweat in them right now. So okay, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going here. All right, practice is done. I have said this once, and I'm gonna say it probably 500 more times before this is all said and done. Nothing mimics practice. Nothing. You can't, I don't think you can convince me otherwise on this one. You can replicate some movement patterns when you're training, like lifting, if you're going to incorporate, but nothing conditions you the way routine does. And man, is it always a humbling experience. When you're this far, now I don't want to say that far out, because really, I mean, we're coming up on 13 weeks. I know that might sound like a lot. I don't feel like that's a lot. I feel like, I mean, I want to be running full routines, all right. I know that's not real. You shouldn't be, right? Like, as with, I just said before, no one gets prized for coming in early. You want to peak at the right time. It's the same with, you know, training your routine. Yes, you want to be polished and conditioned, and you know, there's people that will compete a routine for a whole season and it shows, and but that's why I want to get to a point where this routine is done with small tweaks. I'm always okay with making tweaks, but getting to a point where I can start really stringing this together, which I'm getting there. Okay, so the thirds went, wow. Really, there were like small things that again occur, but that's how you figure out, like, where do I need to start focusing on skill work a little bit more, or do I need to change? So it was good overall. You know, you watch your videos back when you roll the tape back, and sometimes you watch it, you're like, oh, that was a lot better than I thought, and then sometimes you watch it like, gosh, come on, man. Today I had a couple of those, and more so like, what are you doing? Like, point your toes, extend your leg. It's the small stuff in my head I know I'm cognizant of, but I'm not yet polished enough in my routine to be able to create awareness. And the best performances are always going to be people that are so conditioned and polished with their routine that they are able to think and be present in every single skill. If you're just going through the skill work and going through the motions, there are going to be points that shows, whether that be you're not extending your legs, you're not pointing your toes, you're not looking where you should be, you look rushed, you're looking down. It's all these things that connect with your audience that pull out a performance. And so I know I'm being hard on myself for being a little over 13 weeks out, but those are the things that I like to start working on sooner than later. And I did them sometimes, I didn't do them others. I did I incorporated a new skill that was exciting. It fits really well, I think, into the one section that felt I felt like it just moved a little slow. And so it's not any harder than what I was doing. It's the skill that I talked about in the last video that I was like, oh, I can do that. So that's exciting. It's right in the middle of the routine. I hit it every time. I just need to work on extending my leg a little bit more. But look good. Couple little tweaks, I think, to what we worked on this past Sunday need to be made. More so to make me feel a little bit more confident, and also to ensure everything gets hit the way it needs to and when it needs to. There's a lot of moments in my music where it's like, oh, that's a moment, oh, that's a moment, oh, that's a moment. And if it doesn't hit on the moment, it's not going to look right. And so just some small tweaks, but I kind of fill gapped where I needed to, and I sent Donnell, I spliced together my video, I sent him every single note of everything. And so very detailed plan. Then I believe he'll come back in with me on Sunday and we'll continue to refine. I would like on Sunday this week, that being said, this past weekend we just strictly worked on choreography, and don't get me wrong, I was a mess, like sweating and like working hard, but I do want to make sure that I am still reserving time to at least run my thirds. I'd like to do each section at least twice, so I'm getting runs under my belt. Given how my body feels right this moment, I do not yet is the key word, yet think I'm ready for 3 days practice a week, but it is coming. I know by 11 weeks out, I need to be in this gym 3 times a week. That's what we did last time, and it worked beautifully. And so it's I've got a couple more weeks, and I'm hoping that my body's just starting to get used to this workload. She's coming along. So that's the plan. But all in all, I mean, I am happy with today. It's every day a little bit better. Smaller details are coming in. Gaining some confidence in places I need to. Big challenge. I'm gonna give myself a week on this one. I need to start throwing my back tuck again. Girl's been waiting on that one, so it's coming. I've been visualizing it. I've been watching all my practice videos. Remember I told you I haven't busted one? Yeah, I'm watching every single one to remind myself, you can do this. And then I keep telling myself too, I bet when you do this time around, because I've been working on so many plyometric drills and weighted vest on box jumps to like work on my jump height, I think it's going to be easier than it ever has been. I just need to do it. So I don't think I have anything outside of that. I'm gonna head home, make some dinner, doing lean ground beef, rice, and veg tonight. I mentioned this earlier, I think I did, maybe I did. I had a That's It bar right before I started practice because I incorporated a 1/4 cup more white rice than usual, so I had a whole cup of rice in my 1 o'clock meal. But then I didn't start practice until 3:30, and I wanted to put some carbs on board, just keep my energy up, which I will say, my energy didn't feel like it tanked. I definitely was moving slower by the end, but keep doing routine runs, you're going to move slower at some point. I also never had an extra hit of caffeine today, so I had my morning coffee. I did have pre-workout before I lifted, but I haven't had anything since 8 a.m. today, no caffeine, and I'm proud of that. It's now 5:30, and almost 5:30. I don't feel like I've crashed, so that's a good sign. I told you, caffeine per coach will not be something we lean into unless it's absolutely necessary. So thrilled with that. So dinner, walk with Hazel after dinner, get ready for pack my things, do some laundry. I need to do laundry for tomorrow, and then I work tomorrow from 6 to 1. So a shorter work day Friday, shorter work day. So that's the deal. Hi, it's Friday, April 17th, And I'm on my way to a float spa. I shared this, I want to say, in my first video maybe. It's one of my favorite things to do for recovery, and I have not been in a couple weeks, and I need it. This week, I had another yellow recovery today. And I mean, coming off of practice yesterday, I'm not surprised. But my body's just not, it is struggling. It's struggling a little bit. And so I need to focus on recovery a lot more. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm on my way there now, which I'm excited for. But overall, good day at work. I guess let's talk about why, Melissa, are you having this rough recovery period? Well, maybe because it's my output has been so high this week. I did not expect to have the day that I just had, but such is life. MB this morning ended up, for me, being a bit more intense than usual while coaching. Like, meaning my heart rate got to zone 4. Not for long, but long enough. And usually I don't see that while coaching. You get in the moment. You're with people. You're trying to drive them. It's brief moments, but I also know that's not my typical output for this day. And then I was testing our AMA, RMA equipment, and so I ran a mock-up active metabolic assessment on myself. So I did not go to my 10 out of 10 output level because I didn't even know I was going to do this today. Mentally, I'd like to be prepared for that. I also did it as a power walker, which my cardio is power walking and I anticipate it's going to be that way for my entire prep. It is not easy for me to get my heart rate to drive super high because my legs burn out before my heart rate comes up. So I got up to a 14% incline at 3.5 miles per hour. And oops, it came off too hot. I felt like my effort level ended probably, like, again, you rating of perceived exertion is the skill that we work around with this, and we're trying to get you to a 10 out of 10. I probably felt like I was a 6 out of 10, but my legs were really fighting for that moment. And then I was really trying to, like, go as long as I could on the test to get the best data possible. So I did drop my incline down to 1%, and I picked my speed up to 7. I said, let's just go for it and let's see what happens with my heart rate. But then I didn't set the protocol long enough, so it stopped my test. So my heart rate only went up to like 165. Like a uncomfortable pace, but something I could continue to hold. So the good news is I got a good readout. Like, bad news, for me, I didn't necessarily get a true test out of it. But again, just testing equipment and understanding it a little bit better and playing with a couple things. So that was good. I then did a resting assessment on myself, which you're supposed to do fasted, and you're supposed to do without having any strenuous exercise on yourself. I was neither of those things. I had eaten about 2.5, 3 hours prior to the test, my breakfast, because I didn't know I was going to do this today. And then I did the resting test immediately after my active metabolic test, within 10, 15 minutes. So not my baseline on RMA. But what was interesting is when I, look at all this data, while it's not resting metabolic assessment, it gives that, for me, helped me understand what my body's doing when my sympathetic nervous system is really on and I'm moving a lot and I'm expending energy. It helped me understand what my output is, which will help me guide my nutrition a little bit more. And I think that was beneficial to understand, because I mentioned the other day, I just had this feeling like I've been undershooting my carbs a little bit with how I've been feeling, and just how high my daily output is. This is why everybody's prep in the bodybuilding realm is so vastly different. Your lifestyle is going to dictate a lot. Everything from, like, for me, my biggest struggle, hands down, no questions asked, is always going to be my sleep. I do my best. I pack it in as early as I can. I try to optimize it as best as I can. when you coach early morning, you're at the mercy of that schedule. And on the opposite side, I have a very, very high impact job. I don't necessarily, when the coaches I class are not, most of my classes, I'm not doing the class. I'm on a microphone and I'm telling people what to do. And I'm coaching their form, but my point being, my heart rate doesn't even come out of zone 0. Like I'm not going into zone 1 mostly, maybe occasionally, but for me zone 1 is a fat burning zone. So if I am in zone 1, I'm on my feet constantly. I'm in kind of my sweet spot for where I burn fat best on my body. I do the MB360 classes. I coach 4 a week. This week I'm doing 5. I'm coming in tomorrow morning to do one. I do the workout, but I'm also walking around to coach. So there are moments where I'm definitely engaging more. Sometimes when I coach, my heart rate in MB, it's usually actually in zone 1 almost the whole time. And today, as I mentioned, it's intervals. So we have Tabata. Its heart rate goes higher. I did have my heart rate going into, it was several minutes in zone 3 and a little bit into zone 4. So it just depends on the day. But my point in saying that is, yes, I'm walking constantly when I'm at the gym. I'm working for 8-ish hours at a time, and there's no time where I'm sitting down. That's all on my feet. So some people struggle to get movement in, and that's why some people in prep have to do longer bouts of cardio to find a result, is simply because energy expenditure daily is not as high. Parking, so watch me back it in. I'm lucky in that regard, and I mentioned this last time, this is why in my last prep, I looked at my plan just recently. I had 6 days a week. I was doing the Stairmaster for 30 minutes with a hold on my heart rate between 140 and 150, which I think is going to be an interesting conversation with Rael, because now that I have, and I will redo my metabolic assessment, I think my fat burning zone is actually optimized when my heart rate is between 117 and 141. And that's really significant to understand those numbers as someone, one, if you're looking for any kind of fat loss, to know where you optimize your fat loss. I've said this before in these videos with doing metabolic testing. To me, it's a no-brainer. Why would you not want that information to work smarter, not harder? And there's such a big misconception around, like, I gotta go and burn the calories. But again, you get a lot more bang for your buck in lower heart rate zones than you would imagine. So based on my results today, I really, my sweet spot is zone 1. I'm still I optimize pretty well in zone 2, but by zone 3, I'm shifting largely into carb. Mine's like 30% fat burn, 70% carb. And so I think keeping my heart rate actually a little bit lower in like the 130, 140 range is my sweet spot for cardio. So point being, I did 30 minutes of walking last prep on the Stairmaster. This time around, I'm hoping to be able to stay on incline walking, because I think that's working better for me, just how my lower body is coming in, which is always what comes in last for me. Conditions last. I'm also interested if we're going to have 6 days of cardio, knowing that I now have 4 days of MB360, which is movement that was not part of my prep last time. And so from the jump, my output's a lot higher, which means my daily intake is higher. So I added in carbs. I expect to see probably in the next week or two, we're going to bump food up a little bit more carbs in the day as output goes up. So right now I'm still sticking with 2 days of 20 minutes of incline walking on Tuesday and Friday. In about 2 weeks, I will start going into 3 days a week with practice, and that alone will likely need to bump up on those days. So it'll be interesting. Like, every prep's different. Lifestyle changes things, and so I'm in a different season of life, and it's exciting to see. It's exciting to have all this data available, like having having these tests available at Lifetime. If you're not a Lifetime member, if you didn't know this, you can drop in and have these tests done. Honestly, they're really affordable too. Like, to get this data and to have it moving forward and to utilize it for 8 to 12 weeks. I've seen one of my clients saw her VO2 max jump by 10 points in, I want to say, 8 weeks. So her applying the plan, like, do the work that it tells you to do, because it gives you a cardio plan. Pretty incredible. So I'm excited to continue to see this come together. Anyways, I'm here now. So I'm going to get in there to my float spa. I will take a short video as I get in. And I'm going to go relax for the next hour. Hi, it is Saturday, April 18th. I got to Lifetime earlier today. I coach MB360, which I covered today, and I'm actually covering next Saturday as well, which is good because I don't usually coach Saturdays. It's an endurance format, so that's new for me. So I'm happy that I get 2 consecutive weeks of doing it because it gives me experience to understand it, because it's just out of my norm. So I coached that this morning, which went great. And then I saw one client right after. And I'm now on my way to the cheer gym to meet somebody who is coming in to really refine their routines. So I'm thrilled. I'm so excited. So more to come on that. So I'm on my way there now. And today is just an exciting day for a couple of reasons. One, I'm thrilled that I get to do this with her and create this routine alongside her to really collaborate. This is going to be so much fun. When I'm done today, I get a little bit of time at home, which right now it's so rainy and dreary, and it's been so nice this past week in Michigan. Rainy but warm. It's going to get to like 35 degrees this evening, and then it's going to stay relatively cold the next couple days. But we have date night tonight, which we typically do on Saturdays in general, and we are going out to dinner first. I'm excited because I'm doing a burger and fries and a small dessert. We are really doing it big this week. Well deserved. And then we're taking a pottery class. I'm so excited. So for my birthday this past year, Matt had gotten me these like date scratch off cards, and we've been sitting on this one for a while. So we're going to do the pottery class tonight. It's right in Northville, so I'm excited. That's where I'm at. So it's close by. It's an hour and a half. I don't know if I ever have in my life when I was in high school. I know we had some kind of pottery. I can't remember. I don't know if it was like on the wheel. This is. I've never done this before, so I'm excited to have some messy fun later. I we'll see how it goes. I love coffee mugs. We've talked about this, so I'm hoping to make a coffee mug. We'll see how that goes. But I'm so excited. And then when we get home after, we said we're gonna immediately scratch the next part. We're not. Matt had said, he's like, I thought about maybe doing it before, but I think we should finish the task and then do the next one. So I'm just excited to have. I'm always excited for our time together, whether we stay in or out. We always dedicate this time together. And this is just, it's a new experience, right? And the place we're going out to dinner, it's really close by, but we've never been, and they're supposed to be known for their burgers. And so I'm very excited for this. So that is tonight, and then tomorrow is practice day. So all in all, exciting. I wouldn't exactly call it a relaxing weekend, but I had a green recovery finally today, which I am going to attribute it to going to the float tank yesterday and coming home. I mean, it's not ever a clean dinner. It's obviously always clean, but just having an earlier dinner, clean dinner, spending some time outside with Hazel after slower evening, catching up on some things, and going to bed at 8:30 and not waking up today until 6. So I got a lot of sleep in comparison to waking up usually at 3:45, a lot of extra. So it was nice, and I feel good. I feel refreshed. So that is the update. Ooh, one more thing I wanted to talk about, because I don't want to forget, and I want to hold myself to doing this because I think this will be fun to see for those of you who are interested about my journey in general. I watched my original, like, I watched every routine I've ever done this past week from like routine 1 to now. It's just such a good reminder that we all start somewhere. So if by chance this vlog is intriguing you to want to get involved in fitness, I hope you know we all start somewhere, and I really want to show that because I look back at that like, oh my gosh, I thought it was the best thing ever. This is before Whitney got her hands on me. If you didn't know this, I'm gonna say like Whitney Truly Jones, if you don't compete in this realm. Whitney is a 3-time Olympia champ. She has also been an Arnold Fitness champ. She's got a pretty impressive background when it comes to her competition career and just in fitness in general. She's done a lot. And so when I want to say after her first Olympia win, I think she had opened up more or less, I'm going to call it like a scholarship program where she was awarding 3 athletes prize packages for their season, where basically like you get to get a routine done from me. One person I think got routine done in something else, and then one person got like a full year of coaching, something along those lines. I ended up winning one of those 3, and that's what took me truly to another level very fast, because she took me under her wing. And then so she took my routine for my 2019 season, which is the year I did turn pro, and she helped me refine where I was going. I mean, really just explain the whole thing to me, like how do you costume, how do you create music, like these are what your judges are looking for, like let's work on your skill set. She really took me under her wing so very much, and then I ended up hiring her as my coach. She ended up being my coach for my rookie season as a pro, but also before I got pro, when I was competing as an amateur. So anyways, I want to show though, before I got to Whitney, what that looked like. Woo! And then I will show what it looked like coming from Whitney, working with Whitney longer, and going through my pro debut, taking some time off, coming back. I worked by myself for the front half of my 24 season, and then I went with Ryal, and I did actually in that season, which is important to know, I did consult with Whitney before I had gotten to Adela, probably 8 weeks out, and she again like really helped me, and like, we got to change your music. It was still Proud Mary, but it was, I think I'll pull the practice video of that one, so because it's neat to see the evolution. And that's where my routine stands now 13 weeks out is not where it's going to stand 13 weeks on stage. I will promise you that. There's always evolution. There's always moments where like, oh, that didn't feels funky, and then maybe you see it on stage, you're like, or oh wow, like that was great. There's so many tweaks that happen. But Whitney did help me getting to Adela, and then following Adela into Ben Weider, I had worked with Ryal, and Ryal again helped elevate. And you consult with all these people and they help you. And this is, I think I've said this before, and if I haven't, hire your mentors, the people you look up to in whatever it is you're going for. Hire them. Work with them. Find a way to work with them, whether that be your career, whether that be a hobby, a venture that you're taking on. Figure it out. If you don't have anybody to look up to and you know where it is you want to be, find somebody, because that's going to be your best and fastest way to find success, is to have somebody who can take you under their wing, who can help explain the journey, who you vibe with, which is so important, to really help you elevate yourself. I've said this, again, I'm pretty sure I said this in this vlog, but I really have leaned into this my entire career as a professional, but also in this side of my life. I work with the people who inspire me to be better, and who are doing things better than me, because I know they're going to hold me to a standard, but also I'm going to start seeing a higher standard. And that's what it's about. It's seeing the next, and competing as an IFBB pro. I think just competing in general, you're going to see the standard, because you're surrounding yourselves around other athletes. And truth of the matter is, I've mentioned this, only one person's going to walk away. That's going to be their day. the likelihood is it's going to be yours is not, you hope it is, obviously you're working towards that, but the probability is it's not going to be. So you learn from that. And I think those are moments too where you have big takeaways and you can learn from those people and have conversations with people that maybe you wouldn't usually. And that's how I look at today. Like, though, so I just, is what you're about to see because I said her name. I want to make sure she's fine with being on this before I like talk about it. So you just saw the clip cut because I said her name. This is why I'm excited about seeing this IFBB Pro that's coming, because she is going to have a story that I know nothing about, and I'm certain there's going to be things she can also teach me. And I think that's beautiful when we can collaborate and learn from one another. So I'm pulling over, there's an emergency vehicle coming. So anyways, my rant in short is I'm going to share my videos of my progression. I am excited within the routine side. I'm excited to share that. Hire your mentors. Know that the sky is the limits. You can do anything you put your mind to. I always have believed in that. I will prove me wrong that you can. And I think that's what keeps my fire going every day I wake up. So, okay, I'm getting to the gym. We're gonna go work on some routine stuff. Again, we're gonna make sure she is cool being introduced here, and then you're gonna see who this person is. This is Chrissy. It's for everybody who is following along on this vlog journey. It was so good. She's a powerhouse.
Thanks.
And
It's turning out so great. I'm excited.
It's so fun. So we just spent the last 3+ hours working on her routine, and now she's gonna take it home and go practice. But we live like an hour away from each other, so this hopefully will become a common occurrence. All right, so you got to see who this was. This is Chrissy that you just saw previously. I'm so excited for her. First off, what a pleasant person. We talked about this, but you get to meet people through the internet when we compete like this, and then you see them in person at competition. But while you can work with somebody virtually, it really doesn't beat like the human connection side of it. I've said this before, we are all cut from the same cloth in this division, and so it's just nice to be in that same kind of company to learn her background, her story, and gosh, she is so talented. And so I'm so excited for her. I'm excited to see her grow in the fitness division. She turned pro last year at the Arnold. She did do her pro debut in the spring, early summer, and now she's back at it. And I'm honored to be a part of that process of helping her. You know, when you're new in this division, you kind of gotta find your essence. You gotta find your lane. You gotta figure out what lane I want to stay in, and what's like me. Who am I on stage? Who is that stage persona? I think everybody has one. And when you can start to align with that, that's really when you can just bring out performance so much more. So we took really her and her essence and then just built around the sections that needed to, stay true to, I think, the skill set she thrives in. And I'm excited because I'm going to be home shortly here. I'm going to splice together her routine. So we did it once we finished the whole thing, we went through it in 30-second chunks. I told her, like, throw the whole thing, like, we need to see it. And it was fantastic, and it's exciting. Her music's very upbeat, it's fun, and so I'm thrilled. I'm happy to be a part of this. It's really cool when you can meet somebody who is close enough to you and, like, you know, wants to go down this journey together. So this is awesome, and I'm hoping throughout the season we actually get the chance to do more of this. We actually, like I told her, as the season goes on, if she chooses to continue competing, I'd love just to be able to practice with her, because I've mentioned this previous, but there's not a lot of us out there in the fitness division. And when I was a younger competitor, I don't want to say I didn't appreciate this, and I think I might have mentioned this already, but I didn't appreciate the camaraderie part and like the sisterhood of what we're doing, and everybody's in it. Everybody's got their own stuff that they're working through, but everybody understands like this is hard. You're not just training for one thing, you're training for two things. We have to be able to look a certain way, which requires training and diet and precision, but then we also need to be performing this very high intensity routine, and so you have to focus on two different things at one time. And so I just want everybody to show up as their best self, and I'm going to do the same. And I hope that, I told Chrissy this, I hope you have the best day of your life, and I hope I have the best day of my life, and I'm going to root for you no matter what, and I hope on the opposite side. And so yeah, I know it can sound different if you've never been in a sport like this, where it's like, well, you're going to compete against each other. Why are you doing that? Well, it's because there's not a lot of us, and I think there's a large level of respect that comes in when we know how hard this is to get through. We know how hard it is to train, and what our bodies and minds and just life has to go through. And so if Chrissy decides to continue with the season, I truly do hope that that's something that we can make happen. Because it really is, it's just fun just to be able to have moments where you time out. Like, how's prep going? How are you doing? It just is if she said it, but it fills your cup. And so Chrissy, thank you for filling my cup today. It's an honor to work with you, and I truly can't wait to see you light up the stage so soon. So I am almost home now. Like I said, I'm gonna get in. I just ate on my way home here. I'm gonna splice together Chrissy's videos so I can send them to her. She's got a bit of a drive home, so I want to get them to her before she gets home, because you know, you're gonna watch them 500 times so we can know it and then go practice it. We're gonna take Hazel for a walk. It's not supposed to rain, I don't think, the rest of the day, so we're gonna take her out for a long walk and then get ready for date night, pottery, and dinner, and then pottery. So it's a fun little evening, and we will check in tomorrow. Today is Chrissy's day, tomorrow's my day. I go back in with Donnell tomorrow, and I'm excited to see where his brain is going now that he's had a week to sit on my routine. And I did send him my clips, my routine from Thursday, so we'll see how we feel tomorrow, but I'm hoping good. Big refeed tonight, let's go. So all right, happy Saturday. We have made it to Sunday. It is April 20th, and it's 10:45, so I'm on my way to the gym. I'll be there in about 10 minutes for Sunday practice with Donnell. All right, last night, great. Oh my gosh, it was so good. Our date nights, I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this before, we do them Saturday nights. The night, obviously, we reserve for that. So it's not that it's uncommon for us to do a date night. It's just yesterday was a little bit different, and I had mentioned we pulled a card that we scratch it off, and it was take a pottery class. And so before we had taken pottery class last night, we went out to dinner, and we had I had cheeseburger, buffalo burger, of course. If you know, you know. Buffalo cheeseburger with sweet potato fries. And then, so I've mentioned again also before, small dessert is okay. And so they have this plate of cookies, and online they look like mini cookies. Oh my gosh, look. It's a whole plate. Big cookies. Oh my gosh, they were warm. I had one. I split maybe 2 bites of another. Took the rest home. Matt's favorite thing is chocolate chip cookies, so he was in heaven. I posted this and said, what a dream, but really, what a dream. The cookies, everything was good, but the cookies were great. So if you're Northville, you want a little sweet treat that's warm, a whole plate of it that you can share with some of your best friends. Go to Deadwood Grill. That was great. So we did that. We stopped at a bar beforehand. Matt had gotten a cocktail. I had gotten a club soda with lime. And then we took pottery class. And it was so good. It was meant for beginners. The guy that did it, there's probably 12 of us there. So easy to follow along with. I ended up making a flower vase and Matt made a bowl, and look how cute they are. And so it was just such like a sweet night. And before we went out for date night, Matt had gotten me flowers, and it was a simple card that more or less said, like, it's easy to celebrate the big things, but it's making the small moments feel special. And I said this morning, is I really appreciate how we can make the smallest mundane things, like a date night can just be a date night, right? Like, you can show up and just have dinner and do a thing and be done, or you can make it just feel a little bit more special, and those things matter. So I genuinely, because it was such a good night. So it was good end to the weekend. Well, I guess this is still the weekend, but practice day, it's work. So had a good night's sleep, and my body feels good despite having, so that was by far my biggest refeed. And I extreme's like a rough word to use, but I will use that word in this sense. Like, to date, I've been doing steak with maybe some potatoes, not really. I think maybe I've indulged in dessert once or twice. I haven't really gone to extremes on that side. Last weekend was Mediterranean. I would say that feels very similar to what we do usually. I just have pita bread. So this week doing a burger and fries does feel like more of a true treat meal, refeed, if you will. And so I was pleasantly surprised this morning. My scale weight comparatively to yesterday was like 0.2 higher. It wasn't even anything. So that's good though. That means my body's soaking up all the nutrition, the glycogen, all these things are happening. So, and my measurements came down again, which is, chest went up. So that, it's exciting. But I mean, just like, hopefully like lat chest growth, waist stayed the same. Did waist stay the same? I think waist was the same, maybe a 1/4 inch lower, maybe. Hips came down, quads came down. So that is very exciting to see measurements change and we stay where it's at. We love that, right? So we're gonna keep on keeping on in terms of what I'm doing. I'm gonna see how this week's scales pans out. This past week, I definitely was holding more inflammation. My body just felt sore kind of day in, day out. So today, following practice, this is not my favorite thing to do, but I will do it because I think recovery is important. I'm gonna go to Lifetime after practice and get in the cold plunge. It's fine. I'm fine once I'm in there. I can stay there. I think the longest I've stayed in is 6 or 7 minutes. I'm good once I'm in. It's just that moment of getting in sucks. But I wouldn't do this. I'm not going to do this on lift days. I don't want it to inhibit anything I might see on that end with growth. And I also don't think it's necessary, but post practice, do I think this is necessary? Yeah. It's a lot, right? Like, you're putting your body through a lot, and I know I keep saying it. There's nothing that compares to practice. So that's my plan today. Practice. I will go to the market, pick up a couple things for the week to just get us through until probably Thursday. And then cold plunge. They'll be home the rest of the day, and we'll just get life ready for the week. I just make sure my food's ready to go. My breakfasts are all ready to go. Laundry. You know, same old Sunday. I like routine. I think I've said this before. I like it. I like being in my, this is where I'm at, especially when it comes to prep. It just, the less we can throw oddball things in the schedule, the better, because then it means sleeping at the same time, eating always at the same time, like not having to make huge adjustments. So that's the plan. In terms of today, I'm excited to see how things shake out. I do think today we're going to do the opening of my routine, which we did not touch. I had an opening, but then we kind of shoved every opening skill like 4-8 counts later. So I was like, well, we can't do that again. So we're going to revisit the opening today, and then I assume Donnell's going to help break down my technique in like small little details. I do want to make sure I get my routine runs in today. And so I think maybe what we'll do is we'll work through, like warm up, work through the opening, make sure we have that good to go. And then I think I'll try to pick his brain a little. Like, do you want to work on technique and then we break it? Like, then let me run the sections. The thing is, I don't want to run sections when I am gassed. Because as I mentioned, injuries could occur. And we don't want that. So we want to do it while we're feeling a little bit more fresh. So I think I'll ask him, like, where do you want to focus on? Is there a technique we can break down beforehand? And if not, let me do what I need to do from the perspective of just making sure I get the runs in for the endurance component and like heart rate training, all the things that I need for the week. And then we'll spend the rest of the time breaking down the routine. Now that I'm doing thirds, I think I said it takes me 20 minutes. That's a lie. Every section only takes me 3 minutes to run, 30-second section, 30-second break. That's 3 rounds in a row. That's 3 minutes, 3 minutes of rest, do the next section. So it's 3, 6, 9. It takes me 15 minutes and I've got my routine runs done. So it's a quick hit. Again, it's just doing it under fatigue. So that's planned. I'll check back in after. I'm almost to the cheer gym now. So here we go with practice. All right, practice is done. Let's talk about the positives. Positives. Beginning done, love it. Big fan. My music this year, it's always, I think my music has always kind of had like some kind of sassy undertone to it, but this one's definitely more. And I always feel like I try to play into that, but again, I'm working with Donnell to bring that out more in a way that makes sense with how I do things. And I feel like I love what we did today. It's definitely taking me out of my comfort zone, just a pinch. And it's not for long bouts. It's the longest bout is 1 8 count. It's moments though that it's like, oh, it's not just a motion, it flows, right? Like it's right from one thing to the next seamlessly. And I'm excited just to showcase a little bit, again, more performance value. So we did all of that though. So opening done, cleaned up some of the transitions, just look at like arm placement, what looks a little prettier, how am I playing on my toes versus like sinking down more, and just check the boxes a little bit more. So that was good. What I was not expecting to happen today, which these things do happen, my left hip flexor locked up on me the same way my right one did the other week. Positive. My right one locked up and the next day it was perfectly fine. So I know it's fine. I also have now learned, again, years of doing this, the second, it really started from the beginning, which begs the question, did I warm up enough? I don't know. Like, I don't know. I've had a very intense week when it comes to overall training between workload and this. And I think it truly, I've seen it with my recoveries. My body's just, it did have a really good recovery yesterday. I think, I know I said I was going to go cold plunge in this instance though, feeling how tight that is. I don't think cold plunge is the way to go. For me, I'm going to do a magnesium salt bath when I get home. Anyways, it locked up. And the second it does, I said this the other week when this happened, I can't, if I were to sit upright and just try to do like leg out in front of me, toe pulled towards me, a leg lift, right leg, no problem. Left leg can't even pick it off the ground. Like that's how weak my hip flexor is because it's tight. Ugh. So my intention was to get routine runs in, and that was not going to happen if I want to keep my body in one piece. So instead, slower practice today for sure, like barely broke a sweat kind of practice. I mean, a little bit, but not really. So that's okay though. This is why you get at it sooner than later, is to iron it out, because now frankly the routine's done. Now I know exactly how I'm going to envision it, and I know coming into Thursday I know what I'm working towards, and now I have a whole routine to be able, no holes, like it is fully there. And now let's see what it looks like. But as I mentioned, whatever this routine looks like now, I can promise you it's not going to look the same. It is going to look similar, but give me 5 more weeks and I can pretty much promise it's going to look a little different. And certainly once the routine gets into Rael's hands, which will be in about a month, I'm sure she will have an opinion on some adjustments to make. So, but all in all, thrilled, happy. Donald's amazing at just filling in the little moments of smoothing it out, filling the house, right? So that was practice today. I am at the organic grocery store. I'm going to pick up a couple things, and then I'm going to swing by Fresh Time so I can get some magnesium flakes so I can go home and take care of this hip a little bit. And then I'm just going to prep for the week, edit some videos for this, and that's it. That was the week. So we are now, again, if asterisk around it, if Chicago is the plan, we are sitting about 13 weeks out from being there. So little by little, it is coming.